The signal reached Earth's outer monitoring stations on a Tuesday morning, crackling through the void with the desperation of a dying civilization. Ambassador Chen Wei stood in the command center of humanity's newest diplomatic vessel, the Harmony's Edge, watching as the translation algorithms parsed the alien transmission. "It's definitely a distress call," reported Lieutenant Rodriguez, her fingers dancing across holographic displays. "The Zeltani homeworld. Their agricultural systems have collapsed. They're requesting food aid?" Chen raised an eyebrow. In the 3 decades since humanity had joined the Galactic Council, they'd received requests for technology, medical supplies, even military assistance. But food, that was a first. "How many are we talking about?" Chen asked. "Approximately 47 million beings on their primary world, sir. Their message indicates they have maybe 2 weeks before widespread starvation begins." Chen nodded grimly. "Contact Earth Command. Tell them we're going to need the full humanitarian fleet." What the Zeltani didn't expect was the sheer scale of humanity's response. The first ships to arrive weren't the sleek diplomatic vessels or modest cargo haulers other species might have sent. Instead, the Zeltani orbital sensors detected massive dreadnoughts dropping out of hyperspace, the kind of warships that had earned humanity its fearsome reputation during the Arcturus campaign. The Indomitable, the Terra's Wrath, and the Final Answer hung in space like sleeping giants, their weapon systems powered down but unmistakably present. High Chancellor Vexithara watched from his palace's observation deck as more ships continued to arrive. Medical frigates, engineering vessels, and stranger craft he couldn't identify. The humans had sent what appeared to be an invasion fleet. "Chancellor," his aide whispered nervously, "perhaps we should prepare defensive measures?" Before Vexithara could respond, a communication request chimed through the palace systems. The holographic projector flickered to life, revealing Ambassador Chen's weathered face. "High Chancellor Vexithara, I presume?" "I'm Ambassador Chen of the Terran Federation. We received your distress call." "Ambassador," Vexithara began cautiously, his forearms gesturing in traditional greeting. "We are grateful for your response, but we requested food aid. Not this." He gestured toward the window where the warships dominated the sky. Chen smiled, a distinctly predatory expression that made Vexithara's neck scales ripple with unease. "Oh, High Chancellor, you'll understand our precautions soon enough. We've learned that humanitarian missions can get complicated quickly. Now may we begin landing operations?" Within hours, the Zeltani surface bloomed with human activity. The warships hadn't come to conquer. They'd come as guardians for the most ambitious relief operation in galactic history. From the medical frigates came entire field hospitals, staffed with human doctors who worked around the clock to treat Zeltani suffering from malnutrition. The engineering vessels deployed atmospheric processors to begin rehabilitating the damaged farming regions. But it was the cargo that left Vexithara speechless. The humans hadn't simply brought emergency rations or basic nutritional supplements. They'd brought cuisine. Massive mobile kitchens materialized in city centers, staffed by human chefs who somehow managed to adapt their recipes for Zeltani biology in real time. The air filled with aromas that no Zeltani had ever experienced. Complex spice blends, roasted proteins, baked goods that defied their understanding of food preparation. Captain Sarah Martinez, commanding officer of the supply ship Cornucopia, found Vexithara staring in amazement at a distribution center where humans were serving what they called emergency gourmet meals. "Your people are eating better than they have in months," she observed, watching Zeltani families lined up, not with the desperate urgency of the starving, but with the curious excitement of beings experiencing something wonderful. "I don't understand," Vexithara admitted. "This level of response, it must be bankrupting your federation." "Why do this for us?" Martinez shrugged, a gesture that somehow conveyed both casualness and profound depth. "Chancellor, humans learned something a long time ago. When someone's hungry, you don't just feed them enough to survive, you remind them what it means to live." As the days passed, the Zeltani began to understand why the warships had come. Other species took notice of humanity's response, and not all of them approved. The hegemony, already suspicious of human expansion, sent probe ships to monitor the operation. Pirates from the Outer Rim calculated whether 47 million grateful Zeltani might be worth raiding. They never got the chance. The human warships responded to each potential threat with the calm efficiency that had made them legendary. A hegemony destroyer that strayed too close found itself bracketed by the Indomitable's weapons array, a gentle suggestion to maintain distance. A pirate fleet approaching from the system's edge discovered that the final answer had been tracking them since they entered sensor range. But the real message was simpler and more profound. 3 weeks after the first distress call, Ambassador Chen stood with Chancellor Vexithera in the rebuilt agricultural center. Zelthani farmers were working alongside human engineers, implementing sustainable growing techniques that would prevent future famines. Children played in nearby fields, their laughter mixing with the sounds of construction. "Your people didn't just save us," Vexithera said quietly. "You've made us better than we were." Chen nodded, watching a group of human and Zelthani cooks collaborating on a fusion dish that pleased both species. "That's what neighbors do, Chancellor. When someone calls for help, you don't send the minimum necessary response. You send everything." The warships began their departure the following week, but they left behind something more valuable than weapons or technology. They left a promise that humanity would remember, that the galaxy had species willing to turn distress calls into festivals, and that sometimes the most powerful response to a cry for help wasn't measured in firepower, but in the simple act of ensuring no one would ever have to cry alone again. As the last human vessel disappeared into hyperspace, Vexithara found himself composing a message to the Galactic Council. It was time other species learned what the Zelthani now knew. When humans said they came in peace, they meant it. But they always came prepared for those who didn't.